Hello and welcome back to Literally Heinous. If you're watching on video, the quality is bad because technology hates me, and every time I record an episode, like something goes wrong. And I feel like maybe out of every episode I've done, there's been like probably two where like everything's gone right. So it's just gonna be what it's going to be, okay? So this episode, I'm talking about my almost tattoo removal journey. Okay, so I am not like yatted to the core. Like I have 3 tattoos. The first one I got was on my rib cage with my improv team in college on spring break. We got fish because we were in fishbowl improv. That one's my favorite. It's super cute. You can't really see it. Like sometimes if I'm wearing like a certain kind of tank top, you can. And then, so that was in March 2020, like 2 days before the pandemic. And then I got my other 2 the same exact day, like a year later. So like May 2021. And I've got the flower on my arm, which I'm wearing a long sleeve t-shirt right now, but I'll post a picture of it. And then I actually do have a tattoo on my butt. So that's something that a lot of people don't know about me, is that I am an ass tat girl, but it's like funny, goofy. So it's just like, it's 1 square inch and it's like a little frog wearing like a birthday party hat, like one of those cone hats. And it's funny, or so I thought. So I've had my tattoos for like, I guess 5 years now. And then I kind of started to hate them. Honestly, only hating like my arm one and my butt. I will always love my fish. I started to hate them about like a year and a half ago. And I don't really remember what prompted hating them. I think it was because I don't hate tattoos, and I think a lot of people have really cool ones like Dua Lipa, Miley Cyrus, Ariana Grande. I'm like, it looks cool on them, but I feel like it doesn't look cool on me. And I think maybe like with my flower one, it is like pretty large and in charge. It's about like 3.5 inches or 2.5 inches, like vertically, like right on like the center of my arm. And I think because it's just so like visible and it's my only one, that I started just to like really notice it a lot and almost like get kind of insecure about it, like when I was with like family or with Jack's family. And I also was like, felt like no one ever really said anything about it, and I was like wishing that people would compliment me on it. And then I was like, do people not like it? So this obviously is what feeds into the broader point of my need for external validation, which I'm trying to work on. And I don't know, it just, the second that it popped into my head that I didn't like it, I was like, oh no. Like once I had that thought, I was like, fuck, like I don't know. So then I started like talking to other people, and like then I had a few other friends that were like, oh my God, I also hate my tattoos and want to get them removed. And I was like, oh my God, like this is an epidemic. And then I almost thought, I was like, well, I feel like I'd like it more. I was like, if I had more tattoos, or if I just had something to kind of like even it out a little bit more, if I was like a tattoo person. Because there are tattoo people, and it's the kinds of people, it's like less than the Pete Davidsons of the world, but just certain people that just kind of have like a decent amount, and they all kind of like work together and like look good. And I just felt like it was weird that I only had like one. And then with my ass tat, like okay, back in like 2020 during COVID, I was like hardcore like identity searching because I was just out of college, because I graduated college in May 2020. It was like peak pandemic. I moved back to Atlanta, where I'm from, and like I was working at Mercedes-Benz and like their headquarters. And I was just, I don't know, like I feel like it was like a post-college, like really I was like kind of searching for like who I'm gonna be out of college, and like what, like that was when I really started to think for the first time about like my appearance. Like in college, I was never really into fashion or like style, or I just never really thought much about like just like the way that I looked. I would just kind of like, I'd buy clothes, like if I liked something I'd buy it, but I was never really like into it. And then like with my hair, like I would, if I had a nice event, I'd straighten my hair because I'm a Jewish girl, and that was how I thought like you signified that like you were dressing up for something, was straightening your hair. And like straightening my hair and buying like certain clothes like every once in a while, that was like the extent of my like interest in like how I presented myself and what my unique style would be. And then after college was when I started to be like really like starting to put effort. And a lot of that is like credit to my friend Zoe, who was always like really into fashion and style. And she like really explored her like clothes and like tattoos and changed up her hair a lot in college. So when we reconnected after college and we're both in Atlanta, I was definitely inspired by like how she took risks with like her hair and with her fashion. And she had a lot of tattoos. And I was like, I want to do that. Like I want to find ways to express myself through like external physicalities, whatever. And I definitely experimented a lot with my clothes, some for better, some for worse. Then yeah, I did start like thinking more about tattoos and like, is this something that I'd want to do, and like getting inspired. So, and I spent like a solid year like thinking of what I'd want. I look through my tattoo Pinterest now and I'm like, okay, I may not love my tattoos, but thank fucking God that I didn't get a lot of the things on there. Oh my God. If I had to like go back in time, or if I had to talk to a younger person, I would say like don't get a tattoo until you're at least like 20. Like honestly, you have a 1 year period to get a tattoo, and that I believe is 24 to 25. Because if you get what you like from like 18 to 23, you're going to be too focused on trends. You're not going to be thinking like, you will have only had like one chapter in your adulthood of liking stuff, because the older you get, the more retrospect you have, and you can look back on like phases and things that you liked, and you're able to like pick up patterns. And like, if you're not cringing, you're not growing. And when you turn 24, I feel like once you start to get to your mid 20s, you are able to see like, oh, I can't believe I liked that. I can't believe I liked that. So you're able to recognize that your tastes are ever changing. And then that would like express itself into tattoos. And you would be able to pick tattoos that are not indicative of this 1 6-month period in your life when you were obsessed with like this certain trend or this certain aesthetic. And then I think also, if you are at the age of like 25, 26 and you don't have tattoos yet, just don't. Like, I almost kind of feel like I'm not too old to get more, but I'm too like set in my ways, and I'm too like, I know too much about life that I don't really have like, I don't have as much whimsy as I used to anymore. I'm thinking long term. So your tattoo window is 24 to 26. Okay, so the tattoo, I'm happy with what I picked. And I picked just like a calla lily flower with like some leaves on it, and then some little stars around it. And I thank God I picked that, because it is like easy. It's not trendy. It's a flower. It's timeless. The style is just like, thin, fine line, whatever. And then I really wanted to get like a funny tattoo. Like, I just loved the idea of having something goofy, like a party trick. And I loved little like cartoony, I don't know. So then I just saw this picture, like Pinterest, like someone just posted a bunch of doodles, and one of them was this little like frog with like big eyes wearing a party hat. And I was like, that is so cute. Like, it just spoke to me, and I thought it was just so goofy. And I was like, what if I got it on my butt? LOL. Thought it'd be funny. Shopped it out to like 2 friends who were like, yeah, you should do it. And then when I like made the appointment to get my tattoo, I got it in Savannah because I was in Tybee. And that's actually the place where I got my fish tattoo too. So it's like, I knew this tattoo place was like good, reputable, like the women that worked there were really nice. So I made the appointment there. And when I got there, like I asked about the frog, and like she loved it so much that she threw it in for an extra $50. And even when I made, at no point in my getting my tattoo journey was I ever like so excited, like didn't ever like have second thoughts. Like, I would go through phases of like being really excited for it and like trying on outfits, or like going out on the town. Sorry, it was COVID, but whatever. I was 22 and thinking like, oh my God, this will look so much cooler with a tattoo. Like, I had moments like that, but I also had a lot of moments of like, oh, I don't know, I'm kind of nervous. And like when I had like my over the phone consultation with the girl, like telling her what I liked, I wasn't even totally sure what I liked, and I was still feeling nervous about it. And that was just like, I wish I could go back in time and tell myself, like, my mom and I have this saying, like, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no, for like a lot of things, like the big stuff at least. And like with tattoos, it's one of those things. Like, if you're not like a tattoo person, and if you're not like, oh my God, counting down the days until you get your next one, and like if you're having any sort of reservation, just don't. And I wish that I listened to myself. And like the night before I got my tattoo, I was with Jack and just like asking him, like, are you sure like you like it, or are you sure like you're gonna be happy with it? And he was like, yes. Like, Jack was always supportive. Like, even when I got there, I was still nervous too. And it just, I don't know, like I don't know what part of me was like wanting to go through with it, but I, even afterwards, just like always felt like a little insecure about it, especially around like older people, around like my family, Jack's family. And no one has ever really said anything to me. Like, my dad was like definitely annoyed, wished I didn't get it like the first few times afterwards. And like he was looking at it, he would just say like, why'd you have to get it so big, whatever, which is fine. My mom was always supportive. But I don't know. And then I got used to it. And then something shifted in the last like year and a half. I have seen a trend online that like people talking about wanting to get their tattoos removed. So it's not just me. So maybe like somewhere along the way, I saw something that like influenced me to not like my tattoos, but whatever. That was where it started. And then with the ass tat, I do forget about it all the time, of course. And then it's kind of like at a spot on my butt where like a lot of bikinis do cover it, but certain bottoms that are like cheekier don't. And I don't even like super cheeky bikinis. Like I don't like my whole butt hanging out. So I usually tend to gravitate towards like medium coverage ones anyways, but I am still like when I'm on family vacations, just kind of like making sure that it's covered. I haven't even told my parents about that one. I don't think I know my dad would never know, and he's going to listen to this, but whatever. Now you know. And my mom wouldn't care, but it's like I kind of once I like got past the point where it was like funny and I was like showing people, like then it kind of got to a point where I was like, this isn't even funny anymore, like I don't like this, and I just kind of wanted it like gone. And I don't know, so that was how I started to feel. So then I started to like ask friends their opinions, and all of my friends were like, I like yours, but do what you want, like if it's not making you happy. And I also knew that the process removal is hard. And I kind of started to like, go on Reddit and join the tattoo removal subreddit and just kind of like scroll around at other people's posts just to like get a feel for like how it works and what it is. I never really did a ton of research in the beginning because I wasn't 100% sure, and I was scared. I was almost scared that like the more that I knew, the more that I'd want to do it. So I was like, okay, well, if I just don't research it too much, then maybe I'll forget about it. And then maybe I'll like get to a point where I do like my tattoos and I'm not thinking about it. And it would kind of come in waves. Like summer would roll around and I'd be like looking at it a lot. And I'd also just find myself kind of like looking for it in pictures, or like I'd take certain pictures and it's just like front and center. And that would kind of annoy me. And then like winter would come back around and I'd be wearing long sleeves more and kind of forget about it. And then like just like that for about a year and a half. And then when I got engaged, of course, like, okay, also during this point, like getting engaged and getting married was in the back of my mind. So there was a point like during this, like when it was just kind of something in the back of my brain that I was like, well, if I want to do it and if I want to get it removed, like I should start now, because the removal process, it can take up to 2 years. It could even take like 3 years. Like I'll get into this later, but there's like a million different factors about your tattoo removal that like you can't estimate how long it'll take, but like you can bet on it taking about 2 years. So I was kind of like, should I do this now? Like, should I start it? And then I was like, I don't know enough, like whatever. So then I just kind of pushed it off and didn't think about it. And then I'd kind of like ask a few friends, like, do you like my tattoos? And everyone would be like, yeah, don't get them removed. Like, that's lame. Like, whatever, like it's expensive, it hurts, it takes a while, it looks bad, whatever. So then I'd be like, okay. So then when I got engaged at the end of November, the thoughts didn't creep back up until January. So then January rolls around and the thoughts come back. And I had only like casually talked to a few of my friends about it. Jack he likes my tattoos. Like he thinks the frog is funny, he thinks it's cute. And then the flower, he's always just really liked it. Jack, God bless him, is like truly the most supportive person in my life. And I knew the thing that was like the point of no return, like deciding if I was going to do it, was talking to my mom. And I was really scared to talk to my mom and tell her how I was feeling. And I talk to my mom all the time. We talk about pretty much everything. But this was like one thing that like I never brought up to her, because I knew the second I brought it up to her, it would become real. And I knew that she would say like, you have to go through with it. If you're going to do it now. And I knew she wouldn't say like, I told you so, or like, thank God. But I projected onto her. Like I thought like when I tell her, she's going to be thinking like, oh, thank God. Oh, finally. Like, so I was scared to tell her because I kind of like had been just like living off of like my friends telling me that like they like it and it's cool and like keep it. And like most people, when I would even talk to them, would be like, what's your tattoo again? Or like, I know you have one, but I can't picture what it is. So I'm like, I mean, in my head, it's burned into my brain. Like I have it memorized, like I look for it. But like with other people in my life, they're just like, I'm so sorry, what is it again? Then when I think about other people's tattoos, I can't always place what they are. Like certain ones of my friends, like I know exactly what they are and where, but others I'm like, what is that again? Or like, you have a cowboy boot? Or like, huh? So I try to like live off of that. And then so I was scared to tell my mom. And then in January, my mom and I, we were dealing with some other family stuff and just like having a lot of just like vulnerable conversations with each other about like other things that are going on, wedding things, just like whatever. And then I finally told her, I was like, I have to unburden some of my own shame. That's the other thing, that like wanting to remove a tattoo, it is a shameful, you feel shame. Like It's something that you decided as an adult, something that you spent money on, a permanent decision that you don't like anymore. Like that is shame. And shame is the most negative, worst emotion that you can feel. This is like something that like my mom has studied when she studies like emotions and all that stuff, is that like shame is the most negative, like worst thing that you can feel. And if you're experiencing shame, then you like have to do everything in your power to like unburden yourself of that, because that's the toughest one to carry. So I told her about the tattoo and I was just like, I don't like it anymore. I'm kind of freaking out. Like, what do I do? And then she, like, as expected, was like, it's your body. So if you don't like it, you should take care of it now and you should do it now. And that was like exactly what I thought she'd say. And she never said, I told you so. She never said like, oh, I'm so glad you're saying this. Like, she just said like, it's a big thing and like it's your body and we've got a year and a half until the wedding. So if you want to do it now, and it could probably get to a point where it'd be easy to cover up on your wedding day. And after that conversation, I almost felt relief, because then I was like, okay, my decision's made. I'm doing it. I'm going through with it. Texted like a few friends, like I'm doing it. And then I set up 2 consultation places, because I already looked at like tattoo removal places in New York. And I had done a ton of research before this online, like just on Reddit and then like places in New York. So I kind of knew what I was looking for and I knew the basics of tattoo removal. So I set up 2 consultations the same day in my neighborhood. And I actually did find like that 2 places in my neighborhood like did have like insanely good reviews. I wasn't trying to go, like I would have gone anywhere in New York that had good reviews or like the best reviews, but just 2 places that happen to be walking distance from me like did have really good reviews. So I set them up there. And so something you will find if you are going through the tattoo removal journey is there's this place called Removery. And Removery is, it sounds like I'm doing an ad, but I'm not. Removery is like a national chain of tattoo removals. I don't know who owns them. I don't know what their story is. They started popping up a few years ago, but there's Removery locations in every different city. And they're really popular. And on the subreddit, like a lot of people are getting their tattoos done at Removery. And when you Google tattoo removals, like Removery, it's like the first like 5 sponsored posts. And I looked at that and I just immediately was like, no, I don't trust a chain. I don't like things that are like corporatized. I just do not trust them. And people had mixed reviews. So like on subreddit and like their Google reviews, some people would say like, this is amazing. I got this package. Like my tattoo person was incredible. And then other people just being like, they want to sell you all this stuff and they just like price it super high and they tried to like whatever. So I knew I was not going to do Removery. And so that's why I found like 2 private places near me. Okay, so the other thing with tattoo removals is it is not the laser that removes your tattoo. It is your body's healing process that removes it through the laser. So there's 2 or 3 different types of lasers, and there's a Q switch, and then what's the other one? It's like a P something. There's 2 different types of lasers. Maybe there's one more, and it is really hard on the body. So it hurts. Everyone compares the pain to like being splashed with hot oil. Like if you're cooking bacon or something and it kind of like splashes up, or like being snapped with a hot rubber band. So that's like the pain level. But the thing is, it is really quick. So depending on your tattoo, I mean, my tattoo is like 3 inches, I think. One of the guys estimated, he's like, I could get that. You'd be done in less than 15 seconds. Like it zaps you, it's quick, and there's not necessarily like a lingering pain. Like when it's over, but it hurts. So the laser like zaps you with like really high heat. And what that does is it like breaks up the skin cells that like harbor the ink in your skin. So that over time, your body, through its own like healing process, will like get through like the loosened up ink particles and like move it through your body, and then eventually you like pee it out and whatever. So that's why the longer between sessions, the better. So if you're getting a consultation, and this is what some places like Removery do, and they quote you like, oh, come in every 6 weeks. Red flag, run. You should really be doing like 8 to 12 weeks. But if anything, like the longer, the better. Because if you're continuing to get laser every 6 weeks or even like 8 weeks, like you're just like harming your body, and you could even be like slowing the process down. And there are people who, like, in this subreddit that I see that post, like, I can only afford to get like 2 sessions a year, but this is my progress. And the progress looks really good because they're waiting a long time in between, and you start to see the most healing in those like last 2 weeks. So the first person I went to, which was Velvet Tattoo Removal, she had really good reviews, and her salon was okay. Like, she was kind of weird. She was like playing music really loud, and I had to like ask her to turn it down because I was like, this is overstimulated. She was having me come in every 8 weeks, and I was even like, she said 6 to 8, and I was like, like that's like, even I was like, red flag, like alarm going off. But the thing is, she didn't quote me like by session. So a lot of places will say, oh, come in every 6 weeks and pay this because they're just trying to milk you for money. She had like a guaranteed rate, like a package deal. And her price was, this was the other thing too. Another reason why I was scared to like do a bunch of research and to actually make the consultations is because I just thought it'd be like super expensive, and I was really scared, and I was like almost like, I don't want to know. But then once I actually like did the research, I discovered it's actually not as expensive as I thought. Like, this first place, I think it was like $1,200 all in all guaranteed. And I could come in like as much as I wanted, however long it takes, like lifetime guaranteed, whatever. And then the other place I went with this guy, Gotham Tattoo and Tattoo Removals. It's actually really cute. He and his wife, she's a tattoo artist and he's a tattoo remover, which is so cute. And they have a little shop together. And I loved him. Like, so if I end up going through with this at another point in life, I'm going to go to him. And he quoted me like, I think it was $200 a session, but like your fourth one is free. So it ended up being like $600 for 4 sessions. And I was like, that's way better than I thought, because if I did like 8 sessions total, like 1,200, it all kind of like comes out to be the same. So anyways, the prices like were better than I thought. And he was telling me to come in every 12 weeks. And so that was how I knew like he was legit. So that's the other thing. It's like, you don't have to go that often. Like, you really should only be having maybe like 6 appointments a year or like 5 appointments a year, like if you want. But also, like, it does continue to fade over time. So like, a lot of people, when they're kind of at the end of their tattoo removal journey where you can still see like a faint outline, sometimes they just say like, just stop coming in because like your body's going to heal it. Okay, this is the other thing. So you're like, in order to have like a really good tattoo removal process, you have to live a healthy lifestyle. So the more you're working out, sweating, raising your heart rate, drinking a lot of water, not drinking alcohol, not smoking, like eating healthy food, and just like sleeping a lot, like keeping your stress level down, like all of that goes into like having a good tattoo removal. And that was another thing that I was like, okay, I it's kind of a double-edged sword, because I was like, okay, if I go through with this, obviously this is like a really good motivator to be healthy this year, which I do live a pretty healthy lifestyle, but I drink on the weekends. I do go out. But I mean, other than like, I go to the gym, I could always go more, whatever. And then I was like, oh, I should, it's a good thing. Like, I should be like drinking less and all of that. So, but it was just something else that I like had to think about. And the other thing that just has factors that go into it. The one that probably had me hung up the most was like the care for it. And the tattoo laser, it's really hard on the body. Like, it's hard on the body, and the recovery process can take like 2 days. Like, some people would get like fever and chills and just feel like down and out, or some people said it was like really itchy, and it was just like, you have to ice on and off for 20 minutes and keeping it like, I don't know. So like, that process of like right when you're done with it, and I'm like, okay, that's something to think about. But the entire tattoo removal journey, your tattoo cannot get tan at all, because that can cause hypopigmentation or hyperpigmentation. But basically, like, what can happen is like, if your tattoo gets tan, and if you get like melanin in your skin, if you're out in the sun, like, it can like really fuck with like the laser removal, and then it will just look like super weird, and it's not going to remove super evenly over time, or it will look like the inverse of your tattoo, where like your tattoo was like paler than your actual skin. So they were like, keep your tattoo covered. And so this is what I was in the Reddit about, was like, I was like, I really started to think about like the year that I have. I'm like, okay, I've got, 2 beach vacations. I want to go to Europe at some point. Like, I'm going to be having like a bachelorette party and like a bridal shower. Like, this is my engagement period. Do I want to be like, you don't have to necessarily be in like long sleeves all the time, but you do have to make sure it's like sunscreened to the gods, or like at best they were like kinesiology tape, like you put some K tape on your arm. And I'm like, okay, well maybe I could get like crafty with getting like a K tape that like really blends in with my skin. And then I just thought about like just really thought about like everything I like to do over the summer, all the things I have coming up. I was like, I don't really want to be super like uptight about like, have I reapplied sunscreen or like reapplying my tape or like making sure that it's not getting in the sun at all. Like if I'm going to Europe and like wanting to swim, like can I even swim in the ocean? And then it's like timing it with like timing the session appointments with like a beach vacation. I'm like, okay, so should I do my session right before a beach vacation or should I do it right after? But what if I get a little bit tan? And it started to just be like mental gymnastics a little bit where I was just like really overthinking it. And then the other like major hang up was while all of this was going on, I had to get my wisdom teeth out like that week. And I was like, okay, no big deal. Maybe I'll just like double them up so I can recover from both at the same time. Like I'll get my tattoo removed and then the next day get my wisdom teeth removed. And which is like dumb that I was even thinking that. But my logic was that like, okay, I'll be like kind of down and out from both for a little bit. I might as well just like double up on my recovery time. But then I was like, okay, so in the morning, like the morning after my laser appointment, I'm going to have to get on a really crowded train at 8 a.m. for my laser or for my wisdom teeth. And people are going to be like bumping up against me. I don't know. And then my mom, I called her and was like, what do you think? And she was like, you cannot do both at the same time. I was like, what? Then I emailed the laser guy and he was like, oh, I would space them out 2 weeks. And I was like, what the hell? I was like, but it's like a tooth extraction and then a skin thing. And that was when I learned a very valuable lesson that I can't believe this has never occurred to me before. And this is kind of embarrassing. This is like health 101 is like when your body is recovering from something and like you have to recover from something else. So like just because it's a tooth extraction and like a skin, like an invasive skin treatment, just because they're like two different areas, very different things, everything heals from the same source, like your body. And your body only has like so much energy to give to heal stuff. And that like if my body is, you know, when you get your wisdom teeth out, you're extracting and you're forming blood clots in your mouth. And then like the gums are coming over it. So like your body's healing that, working overtime, but your body also has to be like working overtime, like, you know, like with that harsh heat treatment to like filter that out. And yeah, then that's like basically what my mom told me and what the tattoo guy told me too. And I felt so dumb that I thought that they were like two separate things. But, you know, that's why like if you're recovering from something, like be really careful because everything comes from the same source. And that was when it like brought into light like the importance of like keeping a healthy body and just like really thinking about like how much you're moving your body and like drinking a lot of water, sleeping, eating healthy, working out all contributes to like quick recovery, like fast recovery. And then when I was like, and I already moved my wisdom teeth appointment once, like I was supposed to get them out in like November, December, and then I moved it to January because I got engaged. And I was like, I can't move my wisdom teeth appointment again. And then I don't want to wait another 2 weeks for my tattoo removal because with the tattoo removal process, every week counts. And I was, you know, looking at like how many weeks I had until my wedding. And I think it calculated that I could get like 7 treatments by my wedding. And the Gotham tattoo removal guy told me that I think he estimated like 10 treatments or something. I mean, and like I said, like it's really hard to estimate. Like you really just don't know like how things are going to heal. Like he doesn't know like the lifestyle that I live, like so much could go into it. So he estimated about 10 sessions. And then I could really only get like 7 sessions in before my wedding. And every week counts, especially like those last 2 weeks in between sessions. And I was like, oh my God, I'm doing another, like waiting 2 weeks for it. And I knew that then I started getting stressed because I was like, I needed to make a decision like that day because my wisdom teeth was in 2 days, whatever. And then I talked to my mom like one last time and I just couldn't decide. And that's the worst is when it's like a pretty big decision, and this is a big decision. Like it's hard on the body. And it's like, once you start, like you really got to commit to keep going. Oh, and this is the other thing too, is that like tattoos, when they get removed, like it's going to look bad. Like they don't just like gradually fade into the wind. Like tattoos are, I mean, it's a form of art. So it's literally ink dipped from like ink, you know, into needle, and then it goes into your skin. So it's like there's spots on every tattoo that's like heavier ink, and then it gradually gets lighter. It's like how you're painting a canvas. And so the lighter parts of your tattoo fade first. And my tattoo is like pretty fine line, but there's some shading in it. So like the shading's going to go first. And what's going to be left is like the thicker areas with like the stem of the flowers and like the leaves. And it's going to get to a point, you know, about like halfway through when you like start to notice like, oh, you're getting a tattoo removed, where you just see like just like heavy lines, and then it just looks bad. And it just looks like a bad tattoo. And when I thought about that, I'm like, okay, I've got a fun year ahead of me. All my engagement things and just like hashtag living that life, being a gal in New York City, a gal about town. Would I rather have a tattoo that is objectively a good tattoo? My tattoo does look good, and I just kind of like made up my own beef with it in my head. Or do I want to walk around with like a bad tattoo, like in a year that's going to be really fun and there's going to be a lot of pictures? So when I kind of just put all that together, I was like, I don't even think I want to do this right now. And I talked to my mom one more time, like, scared that she was going to like, you know, got to go through with it. But she ended up saying, and this is like the thing that helped me the most. Like when we were talking, she goes, I'm so sorry to be asking this so late. What exactly is your tattoo again? And I was like, you don't know? She was like, I'm sorry, I just can't really like picture it. And I was like, it's the calla lily on my left arm. She's like, oh, okay, I can see it now. Yeah, I like it. I was like, what? She's like, I just, you know, I never really notice it. Like, I don't really look at it when I look at you. I don't really see it in pictures. It just doesn't really like jump out to me. But when I do notice it, I like it. And that like changed everything for me. And that I was like, really? And then I kind of explained to her like all of these things that go into it with like covering it up all the time, or like wearing sunscreen, wearing long sleeve t-shirts. It's going to look bad. It's going to look weird. Like the recovery is going to be hard. It can take like 2 days. Like it's, you know, like $600 to $1,000. Like she was just like, just don't. Like it sounds hard. Just don't. And I was like, that freed me. My mom's opinion does mean everything to me, for better or for worse. And so having her say that, and then on top of her being like, oh, I like your tattoo. I don't really notice it, but when I do, I like it. It did just like change everything. And so I went back, and like when I was talking to Jack about this too, Jack was like not wanting me to get it done. He just, when I explained everything, he was like, why are you doing this? Like, it sounds so hard. He's like, I don't want to think about you being in pain. Like, I don't want you to be like, you know, stressed, because I'm a pretty like type A person. Like I am a rule follower. Like I'm research everything. Like I'm a rule follower. And like, I just know I would be really crazy about like, you know, I was looking up like long sleeve bathing suits. I was like, is there like cute ones, or just, he was like, just don't. He's like, I don't want you to do it. And then I don't know, like Jack is so like supportive of like most things that I like want to do, and just supportive of like, I don't know. And he's not a super like opinionated person. He doesn't, you know, obviously your partner should like let you do whatever you want, but like he doesn't, you know, tell me what to do really. He's always just kind of like, trust me to do whatever. But this one, he was like, I really don't want you to do it. And Jack's opinion also means a lot to me. So with Jack saying that, my mom saying that, and then all of my friends the whole time were just like, why are you doing this? I mean, my friends, none of my friends were like, oh my God, yeah, you should totally do it. But all my friends were either like, you know, do what you want, your body. Or some of my friends being like, Lily, seriously? Like, that's lame. Like, why are you removing your tattoos? And I decided not to do it. And I am really glad. It was kind of like a crazy, like 2-day period. And I was wrong about a lot of things. Like, I took so long to like really look into it. Like, I would casually research it for a year, but I took a really long time to like make a consultation and to talk to my mom, which I thought would be like 2 defining things. I was like, the second I make a consultation, like I've decided, or the second I talk to my mom about it, like that makes it real, but it doesn't. And I feel like when I'm making like a tough decision, or if I'm kind of like battling with something internally, like I get scared to talk about it with people whose opinions mean a lot to me. Like I can like shoot the shit with like friends and whatever, but there are certain people in my life where I'm like, well, I can't tell them because then it's going to become real. And I'm like, now I realize that I'm like, I just kind of made a lot of stuff up in my head, including not liking my tattoos in the first place. Because in the last like month, like it's been a month since all of this, like it's changed everything. I'm like, I do like it. And like, you know, maybe I will at some point get them removed, but at least now I know. Like, at least I know exactly what goes into it, like, pretty much how long it will take, like, all the parameters, and like, maybe, I mean, this is just a fun year in my life. I'm like, if there's like, I get to like kind of a slower point in my life, like, I'll just do it then. And I'm so glad that I know all of that because I was able to make a decision to not do it. And I thought that like the more information that I had, I would do it. And I thought that like once my mom knew I was battling it, then it's real and I'm going to have to do it. But it's not true. And it is just so interesting to me with like insecurities and how we really just make them up in our head. And it's like at some point, somewhere I decided I didn't like my tattoos, but it wasn't real. Like it wasn't based in reality. Because it's like I liked it at one point. It is a good tattoo. It looks cute. But it's like we just make up these insecurities and like run with it. Or if we decide like that we hate like something about the way our body looks, or like we have baby hairs and that looks weird, but it's like no one else notices that. Like insecurity is really just like a mind fuck. And then, but I will follow all of this up with by saying, because I didn't get my tattoos removed and I was about to spend like $1,000 on it, I have decided to reinvest that money into other beautification things. So as a treat for not getting my tattoos removed, I got eyelash extensions and they're awesome. So that was really fun because it was something I'd always been kind of like curious about, but was a little nervous to do it. And then I just, did some research, found a girl in my neighborhood and got eyelash extensions, and they're amazing. It was $120. And I will say they're not lasting like as long as I thought they would. It's been about like 3 weeks and they're kind of like starting to fall out a little bit, but so fun. I've loved having them. I got them at not a good time. I got them like this last month. I've been pretty antisocial, like got my wisdom teeth out, snowstorm, dry January, like doing absolutely nothing. So I'm just like at home stunting in my eyelashes that no one can see. And now I'm kind of like being social again and they're falling out. So I will be doing those again. So like that's been fun. So yeah, it has been a weird time. I think that also like I have been in a weird funk, like feeling like the biggest loser of all time. I don't really know what started that, but it's been pretty bad lately. And I also think that insecurities, they're kind of like, I don't know, it's like herpes. Sometimes they just like flare up for literally no fucking reason. And it's like if I'm busy in life, like moving and grooving, like doing a lot of work, like seeing people, like I'm not overthinking things about myself. So like a tattoo, that's like a physical insecurity. I'm like, well, it's not that cool. And like, if I had more, I'd look better, but I just look like a loser because I only have one. I'm like, the fuck? Like, who makes all of these rules? Then I'm just feeling kind of like lame anyways, like turning 28. I made a vow to myself a really long time ago to not get weird about age and to not get weird about getting older, because age is a construct. Being cool is forever. Curly XCX is 34. Julia Fox is 36. Being iconic is something that you can be your entire life. So I'm trying to think about that. But it is fucking weird being 28. There are times, like last night I went to a bar and everyone just like looked young. And I was like, am I old? But it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I just almost felt kind of like old being at this bar, which is like the worst feeling ever. And then I was like looking around at everyone, I was like, this isn't even like my ideal crowd. Like, I don't even think these people really look cool. And I don't know, man. I don't know. And just like having a lot of regrets about like things that I prioritized in my youth. And I know I'm still young, but like out of college, like immediately like fighting tooth and nail to like get a corporate job during the middle of a pandemic. Like, why the fuck was I trying so hard? Like, I wish that I like made more impulsive decisions. Like, I wish that I was a little more like at 22, like I wish that I like said fuck it and moved to LA for a little bit just because. And it's like, why? And it's like, okay, I get it. It was a pandemic. It was a crazy summer. It was 2020, but I felt like COVID is kind of this thing where it was just like this weird time where you could kind of like get away with any decision. And I had to get a corporate job. Like, what was I thinking? Like, I wished that I had, and that now I'm like 28 and like all wrapped up in this like corporate job that I'm kind of like, ugh, like, I don't know. And then my friends everyone else is like having all this like career success. And I feel like all of my friends are just starting to like lap me like professionally and like finding their like corners and careers. And I feel like thought that I found it really early. And I was like, oh, I love my job. Like, this is great. I'm like, I still do love my job, but it's like, I'm like, is corporate for me? I don't even know. I feel like all my friends are like finding their things and they're like making a hell of a lot more money than me. And I'm like, that's fine too. Like, whatever, like money comes and goes. Like, it's fine. Like, I will figure it out eventually. But I'm just having a a lot of like, I don't know, insecurity and just feeling like a fucking loser all the time, and overthinking my interactions with people, overthinking my social media. Like, I've been scared to post on social media lately, which is such a fucking dumb sentence. I hate that I'm even saying that out loud, but like, I've been watching my follower count, which isn't something that I really do or really think about. But it's like, I feel like I noticed that it was at one number one day and then checked it again. It was like a lot lower the next day. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, why am I even thinking about this? And then I'm starting to think, I was like, am I being annoying online, or are people like whatever? Then I'm also like, it's probably bots. It's probably Instagram deleting accounts. It's probably like some girl that I met in a bar like a year ago who just unfollowed me. Like, whatever. It's probably just that. And I'm also like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, I don't know. So I've just been like going through that and trying to like not be as insecure lately. Like, I think that insecure is just kind of manifest when you're not busy enough. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not busy enough, or like, I don't really know what's going on. And then like with comedy, I haven't had any interest in planning a show. I haven't had any interest in writing. I haven't like not going to open mics. I don't know, like like the grind of stand-up comedy is something that I'm so uninterested in. And I'm like, I don't even love comedy. Like, I think that people think that I do, which is like a normal, whatever. But when people like ask me about, they're like, so who's your all-time favorite stand-up comedian? I don't know. Like, I just, and then people will sometimes say to me like, Lily, no offense, like, but I actually like kind of hate stand-up. I'm like, I don't care. Like, I get it also. Like, I understand. Like, I have a few friends that like, they come to all my shows. They're amazing, but they like don't like stand-up. And I'm like, I get it. Like, sometimes like I don't even like it sometimes. Like, I'll go to shows every once in a while, but like I don't even love it that much. And I don't love it enough to like try as hard as some of these other people do. I like hosting shows. I think that's fun, but I just haven't been wanting to. And I'm like, maybe I should, because they are, well, actually, I don't know. Like, the first show that I planned was so good for me, and I was so busy working on it, just like obsessive over it. And it was great because it just got me like in a grind. And that, like, when I'm grinding, I'm not thinking about myself that much. Like, I'm thinking about like what I'm, this thing that I'm planning, or this stuff that I like have to do, that I'm not thinking about like my follower count, or thinking about the fact that I hate my tattoos, or thinking about that, like, did I talk too much at that one party? I'm like, maybe I should play another show. But also sometimes when I plan them, like, I get way too in my head. So I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm fine overall, but that is what's been in my brain. And yeah, so tattoo removal, not getting it done. I'm like, and then I was like, should I cover them for my wedding? Kind of like, I don't even care, actually. Like, this whole process, like, totally and completely changed the way that I like thought about them. It's like, I actually don't even think about them anymore, which is great. Might get them removed, might not. But that is the tattoo removal process journey, and how that feeds into me feeling like a total fucking loser. So thanks.